Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Magic Howells Opera House. In this episode, we will continue sharing our appreciation and love for this historic Howells Opera House, how we felt when the COVID-19 pandemic shut us down for a while, how happy we were to be able to perform again, and now how important it is for us to get our compromised ceiling structure repaired so that we can have performances again for many, many years. Thank you, and please enjoy. You have been in plays in other places before, so what was your experience coming to the Howells Opera House in Oakley?
In Oakley. It actually kind of brought me back to my roots because I grew up in another small town, Preston, Idaho, and that is the theater that I grew up in doing all the shows that I did when I was younger. And so that theater as well was older and had that like nostalgic feel of bringing history alive, and also just that community family. And I felt like I was able to find that in Oakley as well. It was such a wonderful feeling to find that community bringing everything together like I did as I was growing up. It was wonderful.
So did you make new friends?
Oh, absolutely. That always happens in theater, and I love that you get to go outside of the stresses of life and just go enjoy some things with new friends and get to know new people. And it's wonderful. I love the connections I make every time I'm in a show.
So I've been very pleased to be involved in a lot of different productions, both on stage and behind the stage too. I've been stage manager, I've been actor, I've been the director, involved in a lot of different activities with that. It's a beautiful opera house up there. So it's like a second home in many ways.
So how long have you been involved?
Well, going back actually pre-OVAC days, my first performance up there was with Saturday's Warrior Star Child, the summer of 1989. And so since from 1989, took a few years off to go to college, came back, and so since that period of time to current, 2022, I've been in quite a few different shows up there. The neat thing about the Oakley Valley Arts, like I said family, is community theater. So anywhere you go here, people can say, oh, I remember you doing this show, or you did such a good job in that show. And people come back again. It reciprocates that way. So we have a nice sense of community, both here in the early area, Oakley, all around the Rupert area, because people are aware of that, and it's a place people gather. So my experience with that, it's been a lot of family is what I would call it.
The experience you've had with those people, old, young?
All ages. The nice thing about that is you have different demographics will come out. Young kids, teenagers, young adults, older, middle-aged people, people a little more advanced in ages. And you have everyone combining on that to do a show. The nice thing about that too is you have these older actors who can kind of pass on their experience to younger generations, and then they take that experience somewhere else, whether they go out to college or other venues. They share what they've learned from everyone. So it's a melting pot, if you will, of thespians and actors.
I think I've only actually been in 4 shows. I've only acted in 3 of them. But when we first moved out to Oakley, Mom had talked about some of the shows she'd been in and the fun she had had. And when we heard about Tom Sawyer, that was the first one I got to do. I'm terrified of auditions. Auditions are the worst part about any show ever. But I ended up making it through, and I was so excited. And I hated the part I got because I am very much not a girly girl. But my line was the most girly of lines ever. Because I lived loving playing with the dirt and out in the woods and camping. And in that character, I had to be disgusted with being in a cave. And it was the worst line. But I pulled it off. I did my job, but.
So what's been your experience as you work with older and younger people and all the cast members and the crew? You know, people don't know all the time what goes on backstage even.
Oh yeah.
But what has been your experience and your involvement with people?
Well, for Tom Sawyer, it was fun because there was a lot of other kids my age or a little bit older that I got to interact with, so I wasn't so uncomfortable. It wasn't so out of field because it wasn't just me working with a ton of adults the entire time. Yes, there were adults, quite a few of them actually, but there were a lot of kids that I got to help work with, and I come from a very musical family, and I love to sing and I love to dance and act. So I've got to deal with a little bit of everything, but I think in every show I've acted in so far, there's been a decent amount of both kids and adults. So I've had a healthy relationship with having both there.
The first one I went to out there was White Christmas, and you, Mr. Denny, had me crying at the end of the... And I think I told you when we walked out and met you, you know, because I'd never been to the theater before, just moving here from Alabama. And when we were... You reminded me so much of my dad, because my dad was retired military, and oh gosh, I was just boo-hooing. I said, it just brought back such good memories, you know. But
Really?
yes, and I remember telling you that when y'all went out, you know, like we do, and you go up to the front of the theater, but we didn't go outside; it was too cold.
So how did that? Why did you start coming out and auditioning for plays then?
Well, and see, that's nothing I'd ever done before, and I thought, gosh, it just seems such like a good family thing, and I'm new here, and I want to try something new, and so I went out and auditioned. My first one was Scrooge the Musical, and I was Ethel Cratchit, and when I auditioned, Steve Mitten was the director, and he asked me, after I spoke a few words, he said, "And where are you from?" And I said, "Southern England." Because he said, "Can you speak in an English accent?" Well, I'm sure I could.